Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ibrahim Hooper with CAIR's News Update. There was widespread coverage of the recent release of a groundbreaking CAIR report on the Islamophobia network in America and its promotion of anti-Islam laws.
In the report, we show that between 2011 and 2012, there were 78 anti-Islam bills introduced in 29 states and the U.S. Congress. As of today, 7 of those bills have become law. So we now have 7 states where there's law that's intent is anti-Muslim.
One of the Islamophobes cited in CAIR's report is Minnesota Representative Michele Bachmann, who recently smeared Muslims in her own state.
One local religious group has a problem with Congresswoman Michele Bachmann. The Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations wants political leaders to reject Bachmann's comment that mosques are seeking to, quote, advance the goals of foreign nations and organizations. Here's part of the comment made last week on the Jan Markle radio program.
What we're told is that many of them are funded by the Saudi Arabians or the Qataris, and so many of these mosques' funding actually comes from foreign countries that have interest in advancing the goals and beliefs of the violent Muslim Brotherhood.
Now, we asked for a response from the Bachmann camp, but we did not hear back tonight.
CAIR Minnesota also recently defended a Muslim woman ejected from an event because of her faith.
Twin Cities woman says she was kicked out of a women's retreat in Chisholm because of her religion. A Muslim activist group says the woman, who was wearing a headscarf, was asked to leave the retreat at Chisholm Baptist Church. The group says the speaker, Cynthia Khan, didn't want a Muslim in the audience, saying her speech would be offensive.
Other CAIR chapters nationwide have also been active in defense of civil rights and religious inclusion. In Connecticut, CAIR spoke out against racial or religious profiling by police.
It's also not only about African Americans and Latinos. Manji Daoudi heads the Connecticut chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. He has an 18-year-old daughter who's just started to drive.
Hopefully she won't get into accidents, but I'm also worried about her being stopped just because she wears the headscarf. She's easily identified as somebody who's a Muslim.
In California, CAIR applauded a win in a lawsuit against Abercrombie and Fitch over the right to wear hijab in the workplace.
Civil rights litigators are hoping this paves the way for changes in other companies and encourages others to step forward.
We're here to applaud Ms. Khan's courage for standing up and for hopefully amplifying the voices of many, many other women who are suffering this way.
In Florida, CAIR defended the constitutional right of a suspect to have access to an attorney.
CAIR Florida told Eyewitness News one of Todeshev's friends was arrested last week and questioned for more than 6 hours without an attorney.
But we actually went ahead and called the Department of Justice. We called the U.S. Attorney's Office. We called the FBI and said, hey, we hear you have our client. We need to speak to him, and we are formally demanding that you do not question him without our presence.
And in Maryland, CAIR sought equality for Muslim students on religious holidays.
The argument is that public schools close around Christian and Jewish holidays, but that's not the case for Islamic holy days. Muslims say it is religious inequality, and it's not fair.
We feel like the rights are being violated for American Muslims.
Montgomery County Schools ground zero for new religious battle. Muslims pushing to make the Islamic holy days of Eid al-Fitr, celebrating the end of Ramadan, and Eid al-Adha, marking the Hajj to Mecca, full-fledged school holidays.
The community has been struggling for several years to have this issue be addressed.
CAIR National Executive Director Nihad Awad appeared last week on an ABC 2020 profile of Nobel Prize nominee Malala Yousafzai.
To me, she represents what Islamic values are. She's bigger than all of them because she embodies Islamic values of seeking knowledge, standing up for justice. If the Taliban believe in God, they should know that God said the killing of an innocent person is the equivalence of the killing of the entire humanity.
And finally, some 900 people turned out in Virginia for CAIR's 19th annual banquet and heard from South African Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool.
I come here to salute CAIR for combating anti-Muslim discrimination, Islamophobia, and every form of hate speech and hate action that this country has mustered against Muslims. Whether it is in the wearing of the hijab, in the stereotyping of films and books, in the hate crimes that have been committed against Muslims, and the profiling of atrocities and crimes of Muslims. I come here also to salute CAIR for condemning atrocities not only against Muslims, but often by Muslims as well.
To receive CAIR updates and action alerts, sign up at CAIR.com. To contact CAIR, email info@CAIR.com. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to you.